guys, Galaxy King here, and in this video I've got my ban list predictions. These are all the cards that I think are going to be affected by the ban list in one way or another. I've got Forbidden, I've got Limited, Semi-Limited, free from the ban list completely, and I've also got Interpretation. Now Interpretation is for cards that I think are going to be affected by the ban list, whether they hit the card directly or they hit a card that helps that particular card. But overall, Interpretation is for cards that I don't know what could happen to them, whether they hit it or not. That's really up to you, and as the name implies, up for interpretation. So, I'm going to begin with the Forbidden cards, and I'm going to start with everyone's favourite card, Crystron Halki Fibrax. I really do think this card needs to be banned. There's no reason for this card being in TCG. I really don't like it. A lot of people are saying that Link Cross is going to get banned. I disagree with that because on its own, Link Cross doesn't really do much. It's the Halki Fibrax card that is the problem, because this card can be abused with almost anything. Even Predaplants can abuse it. You summon off a Scorpio, you discard whatever you need, summon Banks Yoga, which is the Predaplant tuner, link into Halki Fibrax, special summon Spore from the deck, go into Link Cross, summon the 2 tokens, do whatever you need to do, and then you can bring Spore back by banishing a Predaplant from the graveyard. There are so many broken combos that Halki Fibrax can go into, and honestly, if we don't hit Halki Fibrax, they might as well bring Summon Sorceress back. That's honestly how I feel about this card. I don't think it needs to stay in the game. I think it's really unhealthy, and overall, I really want to see this card go. It's such an unfair card. Now for another unfair card, I have True King of All Calamities. I will be honest, I don't really want to see this card go just yet, but at the same time, I agree with a lot of people. It's a very broken card, it's very unfair. I don't like going up against it, and I know other players, they don't like going up against it either. So I really think that True King should be banned, and it's very similar to Utopic Zexal, but for this particular card, it's hard to say how they're going to go about this, because if it does manage to resolve, then your opponent isn't going to play for a few turns, and also you do need to throw in a Numeron engine to play Utopic Zexal. So there's a number of reasons why I don't think that Utopic Zexal will be forbidden or not. They could hit the Numeron cards, I doubt that they will, but for the time being, I'm going to put Utopic Zexal in Interpretation, simply because you have to go through a lot to summon it. Virtual World can summon True King Calamities with relative ease, a lot of other decks can as well, but Utopic Zexal requires, if you want to use it efficiently, the Numeron engine is the best way to go about it, and not a lot of decks can really use the Numeron engine. Eldritch can with relative ease, but if your opponent has Nibiru, they can just Nibiru it, because you summon the 4 Numeron gates, you go into Utopic Zexal, and they can just Nibiru you, or they have something like Ghost Ogre or Gamma, they can use one of those. So for that reason, I'm going to have to put Utopic Zexal in Interpretation, because I don't know how Konami's going to go about that card. I really would like to see it go. I really think that's a very unfair card. I think it needs to go, but I don't know how Konami's going to go about it. And then I have Smoke Grenade. I do think this card should be banned. I don't like it. Infernoble are just stupidly broken. I really do think Infernoble can still be a very competitive deck, even without Smoke Grenade, just because of the amount of negates they can put up on the field. And honestly, in my personal opinion, I feel like Atlantean Mermail could take Infernoble's place in the foreseeable future if Mermail Atlantean is left clear of the ban list, because they operate on the same way as Infernoble by ripping cards out of the opponent's hand. So I really think that Mermail Atlantean could be a very rogue and very competitive deck in a few formats, or at least very soon. But Smoke Grenade, I really do want to see that card go. It's just stupidly unfair. It's so annoying when you're playing against an Infernoble player and they just rip the cards out of your opponent's hand. and they get to look at your hand as well. That's the annoying thing. So they know that you're playing. They can set up against you. That's stupidly unfair. I don't like that card. I really think that card needs to go. And honestly, Infernoble could still play just fine without it. I really don't think Smoke Grenade is needed. I really want to see that card. For cards that I think need to be limited, I'm going to have to say Miscellaneous Source. I feel like dinosaurs, they've had a good run. I'm not denying they're an amazing deck. But I do think the time has come for Miscellaneous Source to be limited. It's a broken card. It basically means your opponent can't respond to any dinosaur players, whether they've got Nibiru or any other hand trap. Miscellaneous Source, really broken card. And I know it gives dinosaurs that competitive edge on a lot of decks, just because they become unaffected by everything. But I really do think the Miscellaneous Source needs to go. It can be really annoying when you can't respond to any dinosaur plays, so that's why I think it needs to be limited. Cards that I think that can come off the ban list, Thunder Dragon Colossus. I really think this card could come back to 1 because Thunder Dragons haven't seen a lot of play recently. They're very underwhelmed at the moment, since, especially in this particular format and the amount of other decks that can simply overpower it. Colossus come back to 1, I feel like it would really benefit the deck. Unfortunately, if it does come back to 1, I feel like they might hit 1 or 2 other cards in Thunder Dragons. They might limit Thunder Dragon Fusion or Matrix. They might do that. They did the same with Zodiac, where they brought Dryden back to 1, but they limited Zodiac Barrage. So I think that's what they could do with Thunder Dragons if Colossus does come back to 1, unfortunately. I would like to see Colossus come back to 1. I really like Thunder Dragons, and I would like to see this card come back to 1. I really would like to see the deck see more competitive play, because Thunder Dragons have access to a bunch of other engines as well. You've got the Dangers and you've got the Chaos cards as well, which can really help the deck moving forward. But Colossus come back to 1, I would like to see that, but the unfortunate thing is, if they do that, they may hit 1 or 2 cards in Thunder Dragons. They might limit it, or they might ban it completely. I honestly don't know. But Colossus to 1, I think that's fair enough. And then Salamangreat Mirage Stalio. Personally, I would really like to see this card come back to 1. Salamangreat, not as good as they were before. They do have Access Code Talker though, which I'm not denying is an amazing, amazing card. But overall, they haven't really been doing much. So I would like to see Mirage Stalio come back to 1. It would just give Salamangreat that competitive feel that it used to have, that now it's just Salamangreat right now just feels like it's slipping away from the competitive format. I really don't like that. I really like Salamangreat, and there's a bunch of other Cyburst cards that can be thrown into Salamangreat as well, like Microcoder. That card is amazing because then you can set up a much better board. You get a spare negate. You can have Transcode Talker and Sunlight Wolf, and Transcode Talker will give them both targeting protection. That's really good. You can also get Psionic Conflict, which is another Omni Negate, which really helps. And also there's another tech that I am testing in Salamangreat, which is Nightmare Corrupted Ibli. If you link summon, if you normal summon Nightmare Corrupted Ibli, link summon into Salamangreat Phalanx, and then special summon the Ibli to your opponent's field, they can't Nibiru you because they can only summon link monsters while Nightmare Corrupted Ibli is on their field. So that can be really amazing. I really testing that out. That can be really fun. But Salamangreat, I would like to see Mirage Stalio come back to 1 just to help the deck move forward, because it's a really fun deck to play with. I really enjoy it. So I would like to see this card come back to 1. And then for a card that I think can be semi-limited, Double Iris Magician. I really do think this card could come to 2. It's very fun, and compared to some other decks now, I really do think that Pendulum deserved this. I don't play Pendulums myself, but Double Iris Magician at 2, I feel like that would really help a lot of Pendulum players, because I haven't seen a lot of Pendulum decks at the moment, so Double Iris at 2, I think that would really help them, and I feel like Pendulum players really deserve Double Iris at 2. It's an amazing card, it really helps the deck, so I feel like they deserve it. And then cards that I think could come off the ban list completely, I think we can all agree on this. Call Belgrave coming back to 3. We need this card back. We really, really need this card back. No one liked when Konami limited it. That was a stupid mistake. And I think we can all agree Konami was just pushing for product when they limited this, just so they could sell things like Crossout Designator when it comes to the TCG, Lightning Vortex, Trouble Tactics Talent, but all of those cards, none of them are as good as Call by the Grave. Call by the Grave, we need that back so much. And honestly, if Call by the Grave doesn't come back to 3 on the next ban list, which is not too far away, I a lot of players I feel like they're going to be very unhappy with that. So Call by the Grave coming back to 3, I feel like that's needed because Crossout Designator is nowhere near as good as Call by the Grave, and Crossout Designator. It's a little while before we get that card in TCG. It has been announced to be coming to the TCG very soon, but for that card to be good, you have to be playing the exact same hand traps that the opponent is playing, and that's really unreliable. Call by the Grave is just such a reliable card, and it really helps a lot of rogue decks move forward and give them that edge over some competitive decks that otherwise wouldn't give them a chance to play. So Call by the Grave coming back to 3, really think that's a given. We need that card back. And then for 2 cards that I think that could definitely come back to 3, ABC Dragon Buster and Totally Awesome. These 2 could definitely come back to 3. ABCs, I haven't seen a lot of play with them recently, and the most recent player that I did have with them a while ago, they just couldn't do anything. It was just playing against it. I could see in the opposing players, I could see in my opponent's eyes, they weren't having fun. They couldn't do anything. So ABC Dragon Buster come back to 3. I think that's a given. I would really like to see this deck come back to 3 because it's an amazing deck. It's very nostalgic because they're the cards that Seto Kaiba used. So I think that this card could definitely come back to 3. Totally Awesome, I think that could come back to 3 as well. I haven't seen a lot of Paleozoic Frog players. And also, Paleozoic Frogs, I would like to see them mixed with Marincess quite a lot because I like Marincess. I think like the Frog engine, that's a very amazing tech to play in this game. So, Totally Awesome and ABC Dragon Buster, they could definitely come back to 3 because I think they deserve to be competitive decks. I think that they deserve a spotlight. Really amazing decks. I really like them. So I really do think these cards could come back. So the last 2 cards that I feel like are going to get affected by the ban list, I realise this is probably going to put a lot of hate on me, but I really do think that these cards, I feel like one card has a target on its back and another doesn't, but for one of them, I'm going to have to say Fire Formation Tenki. I really do feel like this card has a target on its back. I don't know how Konami is going to go about this. They might hit it, they might not, but I personally feel like it's vulnerable with this ban list because if we look at Zodiac and how they got buffed by Phantom Rage, they have cards like AA Zeus, Alpha King, they've got Tri Brigade as well, which are amazing. I feel like Fire Formation Tenki is one of those cards that might be affected because this card can search out any level 4 or lower Beast Warrior. It can be searched out with another monster as well, but I really don't know. I really don't know if Konami is going to hit this card or not. So I'm gonna have to put it in interpretation because I really don't know how or if Konami is gonna ban this card or not. It might get banned, it might get limited. I really don't know. But Zodiac at the moment, really powerful. They've got a lot of stuff to work with. As I just said, AA Zeus, Tri Brigade, which buff them. Alpha King, they have access to free Tenki, which can be searched with a Brotherhood of the Fire Fist monster. They've got Barrage. They've got so many broken cards to work with. So I really do think that Fire Formation Tenki does have a big target on its back. I really don't know if Konami's going to hit it or not, but I would be cautious of this card because I really do feel like it's vulnerable. And then for the last card, a lot of people are saying this card is going to get banned. I don't agree with them, but I don't disagree with them for a number of reasons. So, Buster Dragon Destruction Sword, I'm going to put in interpretation. I really don't know how this card's going to get banned. or if it is going to get banned. I'm really skeptical about this because a lot of people are saying it's a very unfair card and it doesn't let you play. I disagree because a lot of decks that don't rely on their extra deck can easily get over that. But then again, a lot of the most competitive decks like Zodiac, Infernoble, Dragon Link, there are a lot of decks that rely on their extra deck to win. So just having a Destruction Sword to stop them can just give you a chance against them. Whereas if you weren't, Dragon Link, Infernoble, and a bunch of other decks that rely on their extra deck would just easily run you down and you wouldn't get much of a chance to play at all. So for that reason, I feel like it can stay. I don't know how they're going to go about that. I personally want it to stay. I don't think it's ready to go yet because there are a lot of other decks that don't rely on their extra deck, which can easily get over that. Decks like Dinosaur. For Dinosaur, the extra deck is just a luxury to get Evolves Adokia or anything else that can buff their field. They don't necessarily heavily rely on their extra deck. Neither does Dogmatica. They hate the extra deck. So Dogmatica, they could easily get over that. Eldritch, they don't rely on their extra deck all that much unless you're playing like a Synchro variant or an Xyz variant or whatever. Invoke Eldritch. And really, to get over that lock, all you need is a monster with higher attack than that, or a spell or trap card removal. That's all you need. And even then, that whole combo with Union Carrier isn't very reliable because only Dark monsters and Dragon monsters can really use this lock, and even then you have to have two monsters that are the same attribute or the same type to go into Union Carrier, and then you have to use Union Carrier to target another monster on the field that is either Dark or Dragon, so you can equip Buster Dragon to it. So I honestly feel like Buster Dragon can stay. I don't think it's going to get hit. It might get hit. I don't agree with people when I say it should get banned, but I don't disagree with them. I agree it's a powerful card, but at this particular time, it just gives some decks an ability to play against other decks that, as I just said, Dragon Link, Infernoble, a bunch of other decks that rely on the extra deck are extremely broken, they're really powerful, so I feel like Buster Dragon can stay for a bit longer. I really like the card, I don't want to see it go, so I think it can stay for a bit longer. But that's just my overall opinion, but these are the cards that I think are going to get affected the most on the ban list. But I might be wrong on a few of these, I might be right, I don't know. But either way, that is it for this video. Please let me know what you thought of this ban list and whether you think I'm right or wrong. December isn't that far away, so the ban list isn't that far away as well. And we're just going to have to wait and see what cards get banned or not. So, that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed. Please let me know what you thought of the ban list and what you think are going to get banned. I'd love to hear your opinions. And as always, I'll talk to you all in the next